Okay, I'm going to go over last night's homework 1 through 5. So I want you to make sure that you have the correct answers. First problem, I have 3x plus 68 equals 92. Step 1, I'm going to draw the slide, draw the lines on both sides of my equals to keep things lined up. Now I'm going to look at the side that has my variable. On this side, I need to get rid of or undo the plus 68 first. In order to undo plus 68, I'm going to subtract 68. 68 and negative 68, they're zero pairs, they cancel. And I'm left with 3x equals 92 minus 68 is 24. Step 1 is done. Next step, I have 3 times x equals 24. I need to undo multiply times 3. The opposite of multiplying would be to divide by 3. Remember that this line right here, that fraction line, means to divide. 3 divided by 3 is just 1, so I have 1x equals, I'll type in my calculator, 24 divided by 3 to get an answer of 8. X equals 8. Number 2. Remember, I always start on the side with my variable. I need to undo the addition or subtraction first. Undo the constant, the number by itself. To get rid of this negative 7, I'm going to put a positive 7. Because a negative 7 and a positive 7, they're zero pairs. They will cancel out. I'm left with 2 times m equals, because I added 7 on the left side, I need to make sure I add 7 on the right. I have 29 plus 7 equals 36. If I have 2m, that means 2 times m. To undo multiplying by 2, I would need to divide by 2. So I will divide by 2 over here and over here, because what I do to one side, I do to the other. 2 divided by 2 is 1m equals, I'm going to type in my calculator, 36 divide by 2, and I will get an answer of m equals 18. Number 3, I'm going to deal with my constant, which is the number by itself first. So over here, I have plus 6. In order to undo plus 6, I have to do the opposite, and I'm going to subtract 6. A positive 6 and a negative 6 equals 0. They cancel out. I'm going to bring down negative 7a equals 27 minus 6 is 21. Next, I'm not going to add 7. I know that this is a minus 7, but this operation here is negative 7 times a, and I need to try to undo that multiplication. So I am going to, instead of multiply by negative 7, I will divide by negative 7. A negative 7 divided by negative 7 is 1a. 21 divided by, make sure you type in a negative 7, will give you a equals negative 3. Number 4, they flipped this around. Usually your variable, the letter, is on the left side of your equation. This time they flip-flopped it. We solved the problem in the exact same way. I start on the side that has my variable, and I take care of the number that's by itself first. So the number by itself is a negative 10. In order to cancel it, negative 10 and positive 10 are opposites. It's inverse operations. That's a 0 pair. They will cancel. Make sure when you bring down the rest, you're bringing down a -3 times C. On the left side, I have -70 plus 10. Make sure you pay attention to the negative because this is not going to be an 80 here. If I have a -70 plus 10, I'm going to have a -60 equals a -3. Just like in our last problem where we had to divide by a negative number, we're going to do the same here. -3C means -3 times C. To undo the multiplication, I'm going to divide by -3 on both sides. -3 divided by -3 is just 1C equals -60 divided by a -3 is a +20. Yes, it would be okay if you wanted to switch this around and say C equals 20 at the end. That's typically how you would see something like this written. Last problem. I have 1/4 A plus 2 equals 4. So I'm going to make sure I draw my line on both sides of my equals to keep things lined up. I'm going to start on the side with my variable. I'm going to undo the number by itself first. So this is plus 2. Inverse operation would be to subtract 2. A +2 and a -2 is 0. I will bring down 1/4 A equals 4 minus 2 is 2. Now, don't let the fraction throw you off because what this means is 1/4 times A. So we're going to do just like we did in the other problems that had whole numbers as the coefficient, the number in front of the variable. We are going to divide both sides by 1/4. If I divide a number by itself, 1/4 divided by 1/4, I get 1A equals, here, remember this fraction line means to divide, I will end up with 2 divided by 1/4. So if you have your calculator, all right, here's my calculator here. I'm going to type in 2 divided by, and remember to get the fraction, you find this button right here that has the N over D, so numerator over denominator. You will hit that button. My fraction here is 1/4, so I'm going to put a 1 in the numerator, then come over here and I'm going to arrow down, put a 4 in the denominator, and then I like to arrow over so I'm no longer inside of the fraction and I won't mess anything up, hopefully. So 2 divided by 1/4 gives me an answer of A equals 8. Okay, so that shows all of the work for Monday night's homework, problems 1 through 5. If you did not finish all the way through number 10 by the end of class on Tuesday, you need to finish that up for homework and bring it into class on Wednesday.